welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason, just not too far. I'm actually down the road from the small town of Brownsville, Ohio. It's about no more than 225 people. But this episode is dedicated to the Eagle's Nest Monument, which can be found just on the side of the road, the National Road on US 40. And it's worth checking out. There's a marker here. So, okay, what does this commemorate? Well, many believe that this was the highest elevation of the National Road in Ohio. And you'll see some of the carvings on there, and the Ohio National Road Association put up a marker that talks about it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and read it off. All right, so that is the monument, of course. I'll look at that in just a sec. But I'm gonna read this a little bit because it talks about the road improvements of the National Road. For nearly 50 years prior to 1914, almost no maintenance had been carried out on the Pike or the National Road. By the early 20th century, bicyclists, automobile owners, the postal service, and the trucking industry were demanding better roads. The large granite rock at the site, known as Eagle's Nest, commemorates the experimental paving of a 29-mile section of the National Road from Zanesville to Hebron between 1914 and 1916. Arch W. Smith of the Ohio State Highway Department called the newly paved highway the model concrete road of the world. Chiseled in the granite are renderings of a Conestoga wagon, an early automobile, and the distances to Columbus and Cumberland, Maryland. And then this is what it reads. Well, we'll see it whenever I get a close-up of it. And then down here it just talks about how the demand for improved roads led the federal government under the Taft and Wilson administrations to devise a plan to help states finance the building of experimental paved roads. The national government put up $120,000, with Licking and Muskingum counties contributing $240,000, and the state of Ohio adding another $80,000. The federal share was conditional that the road be rebuilt with concrete and not brick. Well, not everyone was happy with this plan. As a brick manufacturer, definitely I'd be mad too. And as it says right here, a protest from the brick manufacturers in Zanesville, who employed over 1,000 men, led the president of the Zanesville Chamber of Commerce to declare, "If there is an ounce of red blood in our bodies, we will protest against this to the bitter end." It was actually a simple case of cost. The federal government was willing to support the expensive road building up to $16,000 a mile. Concrete construction could meet that figure, brick could not. So, yeah, hopefully there was no bloody violence, but I mean, yeah, I know what it's like driving on brick, and I'm sure you do too, and believe me, it's not fun. Here's some old photos. 2 cars and a horse-drawn buggy traveling the National Road. And of course, me and you, we all take for granted the paved roads we have today that get us to places, but then there's the country roads that are not paved, and here's one picture where travelers struggle on a section of unimproved roads. Yep, the struggle was real back then. And then here is a picture that shows the construction of the road. Note the new technology being used, which is the steam-powered paver. And then pictured above, up here, is a parade of automobiles in celebration of the opening of the newly paved National Road. All right. Also, the sign was also sponsored. There's a QR code there if you want to learn more about Shamrock Printing. All right, now to the monument. So it says here, Columbus is 39 miles. Wow. And then, let's see. Yeah, this right here is the Conestoga wagon. I don't know if you can see it. I know the sun's kind of shining the wrong direction. But yeah. And then Cumberland, Maryland, where the National Road or National Pike started, it's 220 miles. And of course, I plan on going there at the end of my trip. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to see if there's anything on the back, and I don't think there's anything. Nope. Yeah, it was worth a shot anyway. And like most major roads that are rural, I mean, yeah, the speed limit's 55, or maybe it's 60 in Ohio, I don't know that, but either way, people don't go the speed limit. And I'm wondering what this if there's any significance about this rock, but I doubt there is. All right, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. Well, I thought I'd devote a little episode to this special monument because there's really nothing like it. I mean, I don't even think Route 66 had many of these, if any, but there is a pullout where you can view it, and so if that helps, whenever you are traveling the national road, or if you're just curious about it when you're in Ohio. But I am Jason. See you in the next town. This is Historically Marked. Sign off.